Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Poole Harding. And tonight, we have a very special guest. This basketball head is an Abraham Lincoln High School great and the guy who mentored me as a high school baller. Without his tutelage, I would have been lost on the basketball scene. Man, listen, he taught me about basketball etiquette. He broke down who were the top ballers in the city. He told me about the history of Lincoln basketball, for such greats as Eric and Don Marbury, to his high school hero, Henry Hamilton. He was the first person to tell me about Street and Smith magazine. All right? For those of you who don't know, this is Street and Smith right here. Mine's is beat up. It's from 1986. But this was the Bible for basketball in the 80s, similar to what the Source magazine was for hip-hop. He told me what it meant to be all city and the difference between all city and all American. He pointed out the late, great Tom Kinchowski and said, if that man knows your name, you have a shot at a basketball scholarship. All of these things were new to me, being a freshman and coming from the football world. Not only he was my mentor and teammate, but he was my friend. I've watched him dominate opponents, being a skilled big man with an array of moves, finishing strong down low. Listen, life wasn't always good during them days for this basketball head, who had to deal with some difficult times, but he survived. He would go on to receive a Division I scholarship at St. Peter's University and become a hip-hop legend. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Abraham Lincoln great, St. Peter's University standout, hip-hop legend, and my friend, DJ Kenny Parker.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's happening, man?
That was a hell of an intro, man. I was like, yo, I want to meet this guy. What's up, my dude? Finally.
What's going on, man?
Finally.
Definitely. Listen, first of all, I want to say thank you again, because I don't know if you knew how important you being there in my life at that time. Right? Because it was a confusing time for me. I made the team as a freshman, didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, what the hell I get myself into?
Freshman.
And then I get to ride the train with you every day. You telling me these great stories about high school basketball and how, like, this can be a dream come true for me if I take it serious.
Yes.
And we here today, man. So salute to you, brother.
I appreciate it. I mean, I got the same love and mentorship from Henry Hamilton. So he mentored me, and he taught me how to talk to the young dudes. So when I met you, you was a freshman, I was a senior. But we just clicked right away from day one.
Yep.
But you know, that whole class, y'all were good kids, man. You, Dave, Adebanjo, Josie, y'all were good kids. So it was easy, you know, it was easy to get along.
Yo, I remember seeing you with the Abraham Lincoln windbreaker,
Yeah.
and that was everything. It was just like I felt like I was in the TV show Cooley High. Right? Not only that I was in Cooley High, I was on the TV show The White Shadow.
You remember The White Shadow?
Yes.
Oh.
You guys, your teammates. That was my teammate. So as I'm watching this on television, I'm saying to myself, I'm actually living this.
Yeah.
Because you was the cool, you wasn't as wild as the dude on The White Shadow, but you was the big man. You was the cool big man that got along with everyone. And not just the basketball team, Kenny. You was popular with the cheerleaders. You was popular with the football team, with the white kids, everyone. It was just, you know, you had to be that way to be a ball player in Lincoln.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was, you know, I was just, as a senior, I was just happy. And, you know, I was like, we had the best team, public school team in the city at that point, which was amazing. And, you know, coming from where I came from with all the, you know, I had a lot of struggles growing up. Finally started to feel like I was finding my way. And I was just like, I was talking to everybody. I used to be in the hallways, having a blast. I had a blast from the time I got to school, riding the train home. First of all, we used to meet coming to school.
Yeah.
You used to get off the A train at Franklin Avenue, right at Franklin Avenue. I lived right at that corner. And we used to ride the Franklin Avenue shuttle all the way out to Coney Island every day and all the way back, me and you, every day.
And I had to come knock on the window.
Yeah.
I'm outside. And Coach, I don't know if you knew this. Coach told me if you missed your first period class, that I would have to run. It was like, make sure you get there to get Kenny to his first period class. That was my job as a freshman. So, yes.
News flash. Flash.
And I think that helped me become a leader early on and throughout my basketball career, because I just took initiative and he told me to do it. So I was like, fine.
Yeah, I struggled to get the first period. First period was rough. I was never a morning person, man. Mornings was rough, man. I did not know that was your assignment.
Yes, that was my assignment as a freshman and to be on the team. So, enough about me. Who introduced you to the game, brother?
Well, I stumbled into the game. My mother was trying to find something for me to do when I was 10 years old. She signed me up for the what is called Police Athletic League, the PAL.
PAL, yeah.
Avenue between Bedford and Flatbush, or Snyder between Flatbush and Bedford. There was a PAL. Walked in there. They had pool, all kind of activities, and they had a gym. I picked up a ball and started shooting. You know, and it was just like, okay, this is cool, but it wasn't like any formal organized training. It was just something else to do. You know, it wasn't like I loved basketball or anything. It was just something to do in the PAL. So that's how I first picked up a ball. 10 years old.
And what neighborhood did you grow up in?
Well, we moved around a lot. So I was born in Brooklyn. Our family moved to the Bronx. We moved back to Brooklyn. And that's in Flatbush is where I mostly grew up. You know, my brother left and went back to the Bronx. And so he grew up in the Bronx mostly. So that's why a lot of people be like, yo, y'all, you know, talk the Bronx BDP, but you from Brooklyn. I'm like, I'm from Brooklyn all day, every day. But my brother is he's technically from Brooklyn too, but he found his way and grew up in the Bronx. So
it's the Michael Jordan thing. Born in Brooklyn, but rep somewhere else.
Right. That's exactly it. So he was born in Brooklyn, but he repped the Bronx. But I'm from Flatbush, Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights all day.
Right. Facts. So when you was coming up, who was the best player in the neighborhood once you started to get, you know, make your rounds to the basketball courts?
Well, that's a funny story because do we got time?
We got a lot of time, brother. I got all night. Yo, for you,
go.
brother, we gonna make this special. And let me say this. I'm gonna say this up now. I have Bernard Mitchell, Tiny Morton, John Askew,
My dudes.
Silk and Spice. Damari should be on the check-in because I spoke to Damari already today.
Let's go, Biggs.
Right? But this is special to me, Kay, because you was my first conduit to basketball, like on the high school level.
I appreciate it.
Even though a lot of these dudes, you know, they was, you know, a little bit more big time, more well known. You was the guy that was schooling the young dudes, like myself.
So,
So,
I appreciate that.
no, that's real, man. So how did it all start when you found out who was the best player in the neighborhood?
Well, my first 3 years, okay, 10 years old, 11, 12, 13. Basketball wasn't really my thing. It was just something to do. Like, I collected comic books. I played Skelly. Actually, Skelly was my number 1 thing.
Kelly.
Games you shoot with the tops on the ground.
Yes.
Those don't know New York. I was actually nice. I think Skelly was, I was nice. I was nice.
You could have went pro.
I could have went pro in Skelly. I would have had, and me and my brother in Skelly was a problem. Especially together, we was a problem. Anyway, when I was in 7th grade, so I was 12, I'm sitting in the cafeteria and I'm eating my food. And I was talking about basketball with some kid, and there was a dude sitting across from me. I went to Walt Whitman Junior High School in Flatbush.
Legendary. Yes.
There's a dude sitting across from me, and he was like, "Man, you can't play no ball," out of nowhere. I'm like, yo. So I was like, yeah, I could play. You know, I wasn't that good, but, you know, I was all right. So he's like, I'll bet you $1 I'll bust your ass. I'm like, yo. So, of course, I was so poor. $1, it would take me a month and a half to raise $1. At like 10, 15 cents, you know, your mother lets you keep a dime, a nickel.
Right.
$1 was astronomical.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I'm not betting this dude. Whatever. Fast forward 2 weeks later, we had a 7th grade tournament in our gym class. All the 7th graders, all the classes were playing gym class. So my class was 7-1, and it went all the way up to 7-13. So there was 13 7th grade classes.
Dang.
So they all gonna play to make a champ. So I made my 7th grade. They picked the best 3 in each class. I was in the top 3 in my class. That's about it.
Right.
So they was like, yo, 7-4 got the best team. They got this one dude who scored all the points for them. His name is John Johnson, right? He scored all their points. So I'm like, okay, when we play them, we're going to see. Day comes, we play them. In walks the dude who was talking. Can I curse? Can we curse? Mm-hmm. Okay. In comes the dude that was talking shit to me in lunchroom. This dude, John Johnson. The dude. Sure enough, John, he was incredible. He scored all the points for them. All the points. So I was like, and they won the championship, 7th grade in my school. So I'm like, okay, this guy, John, is really good. Fast forward the following year, 8th grade, they started a team in my school for the first time in 25 years. They was going to have a team with all of the 8th grade was going to play from different schools. So I went down to tryouts. I wasn't that good. Matter of fact, let me tell you where I was at going into 8th grade. There's a kid on my block who played for Bishop Lockland, ended up playing for Bishop Lockland, named Ernesto. James Majors probably, he played with James Majors at...
James just checked in too, yeah.
James Major, what up, dude? I don't know if I ever officially met James Major, though I played against him in college and high school a bunch. Okay. James, what up, dude, officially? My dude. There's a dude named Ernesto who was on that Bishop Lockland team. He lived on my block when I was 12, 13. This dude was so far ahead of me. He used to play me and my brother against him. So 2 of us against him, 2 against 1. We used to go to Wingate Park and play 2 against 1. So it'd be me and my brother against Ernesto. The game would be 21. He would give us 19. He would give us 19. Two of us. And the game is 21. And he would beat us. That's where I was at going into the 8th grade.
Could Chris play?
Yeah, he played. Actually, he went to Lethbridge Junior High School. He was on the team for a hot second. Like a hot second.
Wow.
And I'm going to get to the hot second to go to start. We'll get to the hot second.
Yes,
He played, but that wasn't really his thing. But, you know, we're really, really tall. So, you know, you tall, you going to play.
That's
you know?
right.
So, going into 8th grade, we had a team, so there was tryouts. I went down. I wasn't that good, but I was the tallest kid in the school. I was about right under 6 feet. I was 13. I was a giant in my school.
Right.
So I made the team. First day of practice, in walks John. This dude had all kind of citywide shirts. This dude had a different citywide shirt every game, every practice. Every practice, he had a different citywide shirt on. And you know, back in the days, you was nobody if you ain't have a shirt. Like your shirt.
Right. Those is everything. They're like collectibles. Facts.
John had ridiculous shirts. But I remember the citywide shirt had stars on them. I was like, this shirt is so incredible. This dude, he was the best. He was so far ahead of everybody else. He was like a child prodigy, this dude. We played the teachers, grown men, right?
Right.
One of them had played college ball. John had 31 against the team in an exhibition. I didn't even get in the game. I didn't even get off the bench. He had 31.
Wow.
So he was the best dude in our area, and he happened to be on my team.
Right.
So you got to imagine, on our team, I made the team. I was averaging like 4. There's probably another kid averaging like 6. You know, we 13 years old. John was averaging 35. I saw John score 44 points. Now keep in mind, I had never played organized basketball before.
Right.
Team, I only played half court with my friends. I didn't know the rules. I didn't know 3 seconds. I never been with a ref. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I didn't know what a center was. I didn't know how to run a play. I didn't know nothing. I was just a tall project. And this guy, John Johnson, scored 44 points. I saw it in my own 2 eyes. So he was the best. Because with John, you had John on here. And
Yes.
And I was.
He talked about the junior high school years.
Yeah, I hope John watches this because John was real modest.
I'm trying. He's gonna watch it. I'm trying to call him right now. I'm trying to tell him right now to come on because this is awesome.
He was real modest.
I remember. First of all, before I even met John Johnson, you was telling me about John Johnson.
The best, his handle at 13. He's the first dude I ever seen do a double pump. Most of the time you go for a layup, somebody try to block your shot, you try to get it over them as best you can.
Right.
John would go up, dude try to block it, he'd bring it down and bring it back up and lay it in. I could barely make a layup. I was like, oh, he was so far ahead of everybody ever, like that I had seen and that we was playing against. He was to answer your question, long story short, he was the best player in our area. And that league we played in was tough because Bug-Eye was in Bug-Eye and Devil Dog. Shout out to Devil Dog. I ain't seen him in
Devil Dog will be on here soon. My guy Greg Jones. We're gonna get him on soon. Yeah.
Bug-Eye, future All-American, rest in peace. And Devil Dog, they was in our league too. Matter of fact, they eliminated us, my 8th grade. We lost to they call it intermediate school back there. IS 271 or something. We was IS 246. We lost to their junior high school team. We lost to Ed Davender and them, Bug-Eye, my 8th grade. But John was beyond, John was way beyond all of us. Like Ed Davender was a good player then. You know, he would score. He was a good player. Devil Dog, these dudes was dope. I was averaging 4. But John was, I'm telling you, he was something else to me. He inspired me to say, you got to get better. Like, okay, this is where you are, and this is where the best is. So,
Gerald Green on the check-in.
Who?
Gerald Green.
Yo, Ben Star, that's my dude. Gerald Green, what's good? That's my dude. Gerald Green, what's up? Love that dude.
Yeah, you got a few people on the check-in, man. This is crazy.
That's good.
This is crazy.
So yeah, John was the best dude in my area when I saw him at 13, and I was correct as you seen how he turned out. But at 13, he was the best dude I had ever seen.
Yeah, and I think he was the best on this side as well, because when I talked to guys in my neighborhood and I found out that John was from the neighborhood, they were saying he was the best at player as a kid, like a child prodigy, early on.
Yes.
And his hands was huge, right?
Huge. And his arms was long, too.
Yes. Similar to Iverson. I'm going to send you a picture. I have a picture of him when he was at 5-star. And I think he made the all-star team when he was like in 10th grade at 5-star.
I'm sure.
Either it was his 10th grade year or 8th grade year. I'm not sure. One of the two.
I'm sure. That's what I'm saying. When I saw John on here, he was just like, yeah, you know, I was cool. You know, I played ball. I was good. I'm like, yo, wait till I get on here. I'm gonna tell him about John. John, you know what, John? You was modest and you was cool. So your man. I'm gonna tell him about you, John.
Yo, you know, so crazy. Everyone who saw the John Johnson interview say, yo, even as a grown man, he's still modest.
Yo, he wasn't modest when I met him in 7th grade. I just asked for $1. And you know, he taught me a valuable lesson because I never bet anyone after that day because you never know who you're talking to.
Right about that.
So I learned like never underestimate anybody because John would have murdered me and took my money. That dollar was $1 in 1978. Yo, $1 was
wow. When did you start to take the game serious?
When I made the team at Walt Whitman. Before that, it was just whatever. When I made that team, everything else became secondary. I felt like I'm a basketball player now. I didn't collect comic books no more. I didn't shoot Skelly. I didn't do nothing. I had never watched a game on TV before. I made a team. I didn't know anybody in the NBA. I didn't know anything. Only person I knew was Dr. J.
Yeah.
Because he was so big that you heard his name. I didn't know what he looked like. But
Right.
But after I got I was like, let me cut on the TV. Cause I'm out here and see, you know, and games didn't really come on like that. Like the Knicks.
No, my first full game that I watched was the 1980 championship when Magic Johnson played against the 76ers.
Me too. That's when I finally understood what I was watching.
Right.
That. And keep in mind, that was on tape delay.
Yes.
Those games didn't even come on live. The NBA wasn't even at a level. I had to beg my mother to let me. The game came on after the news. So Warner Wolf, we used to have a guy named Warner Wolf.
Remember Warner Wolf?
Warner Wolf.
Warner Wolf. Legendary.
If you don't want to know the score, cut your TV sound down now. And you cut the sound down. He told you the score, you walk with it, and you come back. So after that, the game would come on after the news at 11:30 on a school night. I had to beg my mother to let me stay up and watch Magic Johnson against Dr. J. I went to bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was crazy. That's the first game.
Wow.
And in college, there was a guy named Darryl Griffith. And they was calling him Dr. Duncanstein.
Yes.
And I didn't know anything about college basketball, but somehow this commercial was on, and they're like, Dr. Duncanstein. I was like, oh, that's, you know, all this was coming to me brand new.
Right.
Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There's a guy named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He has a sky hook. I'm like, what is a sky hook? What is this? You know, I'm getting all of this at the same time. I'm like a sponge, just soaking up.
Right. Nah, this is real. I can agree.
So late. I was 13. I'm just playing my first full court. Forget with a ref. I never ran up and down the court before. It was all half court in Brooklyn, where I played. All half court. I didn't even know how to run up and down the court. And now I'm playing with this dude John.
That's crazy.
Anyway, I'm talking a lot.
Nah, I need this. Don't worry about it, fam.
I got a lot.
And keep talking. We got Abdul Fox in the building. What up, Abdul? Rhode Island great.
Abdul Fox. Yo!
Yeah. He got to check in.
What's good, my dude? He got a body.
Yo. Yeah. So, I guess John was the guy who you played against that let you know you had to get better?
Yes. I didn't play against him. I played with him.
Yes.
But he was like the gold standard. So, you know, he averages 35 and I average 4. So that was the gap that I felt I had to, you know, that's the gap to where I felt I needed to go. So I had to play every single day to try to get better.
John said what up. Somebody just said John said what up.
We talking about you, Double.
And it's crazy because that's his Instagram handle, Double Jizzle.
Of course, that's my dude. We talking about you, dude.
That's right. So, Walt Whitman, legendary high school. I know a lot of legendary people went there. A lot of legendary ball players.
Yeah.
And that worked out fine. And then how'd you get introduced to Lincoln?
Well, after Walt Whitman, the high school that was right around the corner was Erasmus. And I lived 5 minutes away. That school was so rough.
It was crazy back then, yeah.
Way on earth I'm stepping foot in Erasmus. So they had this thing where it was so much overcrowding in the schools that if you didn't want to go to your zone school, they would put you in some kind of like lottery. And they would just pick a high school out of a hat. And whatever high school they picked, that was your school. So I was like, I'm going to take the gamble because it can't be Erasmus. Like, I could have lost and went to, like, Boys and Girls, too. Like, I could have went to Jefferson. It was the same thing, but no disrespect. But I'm just saying, East New York, I'm just saying.
No. Back
y'all
then,
know what I'm talking about.
All disrespect intended because I wasn't going to the high either. All Wingate. Exactly.
So they said, okay, the school we picked for you is Lincoln. I never heard of Lincoln. Never heard of it. They was like, Lincoln, where is it? Way out Brighton Beach near Coney Island, an hour from your crib. I'm like, I'll take it. I'd rather go an hour to Coney Island than walk around the corner to Erasmus. That's how I got to Lincoln. I wasn't going to Erasmus. Hell no.
Yo, now, you know, how I got to Lincoln is I was playing football, and me and my guy KK, remember KK?
Mm-hmm.
He played on a football team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, KK got into a fight with the guy from Coney Island, which was from my brother's and my father's neighborhood. But I was still in junior high school then. Because I got left back and he moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, he got jumped and had to transfer. But he told me, if you want to get into Lincoln, you have to pick that you're going to take up animal science.
Oh, yeah.
That was the way to get in if you was from across town.
Yeah.
My God, what up, Jaquan? Hoop Dreams, what up? Yo, that's how I got in Lincoln.
Oh, so if you wasn't from Coney Island, you had to say you wanted to study animal science to get into Lincoln.
Yes. And for like that first half year, I was dissecting pigs, and then you could drop it after that once you was in.
I didn't know. That's hilarious.
That's how I got into Lincoln. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I just went there on a fluke. They picked Lincoln for me.
Wow. What was your first couple of years like?
At Lincoln?
Yeah.
It was cool. I mean, you know, I was kind of like a mild-mannered kid. So, you know, I just came in there quiet. By the time I got to Lincoln, I was like 6'2". I was a 6'2" freshman. And I wanted to try out for the team. But there was this kid in my gym class who, I'm not going to say his name. He was on the team. And we used to play one-on-one in gym every day. He used to kill me, right? Every day, kill me. And I ain't talk shit. You ain't shit. You try garbage every day, right? So when the tryouts was coming up, I was like, yo, I think I want to, give it a shot. Freshman tryout for Lincoln. There was no JV. You either made the team or you didn't. He was like, you can't make the team. He was like, look at me. I'm way better than you and I don't get no burn. Like, he was like, man, I don't get no burn. I'm way better. You get out of here, man. So I listened to him. I listened to his advice. And I didn't try out as a freshman because this dude who used to kill me in gym class told me I was trash. Don't even waste my time, which was a bad decision because who knows what would have happened. I mean, I'm a 6'2" freshman. I could have been a project. You know what I mean? I didn't, even if I didn't make the team, I could have worked out with the team. Coach Hartstein could have had me there doing drills. Whatever. Who knows what it could have been? But this dude was just so disrespectful that I was just like, I'm not gonna say his name, but that's my man. It's my man. But at that
Hold on,
time,
we know. Do we both know him, or he's somebody that's older than me and moved on?
He graduated. He was a junior when I was a freshman. So you probably didn't meet him.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay, got you.
I'm not gonna say his name, but you might know him. But I'm not.
All right. Scar? Scar's on the check, and he said, "What up, Scar from Lincoln?"
Scar, what up, Lincoln football?
Yes.
Remember Ike? From Lincoln
Yes.
I do.
Yo, remember how diesel he was? He was like Herschel Walker when we was in high school.
He was like 17, 16. Diesel. Ike! I ain't seen Ike in 100 years, but I just, some people that you just think about them and you just smile.
That's right.
Anyway,
yeah. My guy, Hoop Dreams said coaches will definitely take a chance on a 6'2" freshman.
Word.
You didn't listen. So you listen to the other guy.
Right. Imagine that. I didn't know nothing. I was 14. What do I know?
Abdul Fox said Heather be in them. Whatever that means.
Yeah, Heather B. Yeah, he know Heather. Yeah, he went to St. Peter's.
Oh, that's right. First, before he went to. Got you.
I met Heather B there. I'm jumping ahead of the schedule, but I met Heather B there. She was a freshman when I was a senior.
Wow. He said Heather B and them cats will be on the stories. Oh, this is crazy. So, you listen to this guy who gave you some bad advice.
Horrible advice. So instead of playing at Lincoln, my mother enrolled me in this boys club on Bedford and Flatbush, down the block from the PL, across the street from Erasmus. There was a boys club. She said, they got a basketball league in there. Go in. So I'm like, all right, cool. I went in there, saw a couple kids I knew from Walt Whitman, and started playing. And the competition there was pretty good. Actually, John used to come in there. John was already in high school. John was already in Tarleton doing work. Meanwhile, I was in the boys club. They used to be like, yo, John, and this is another thing that John inspired me about how much ball you have to play in order to get good. Because dudes when I got there in the 9th grade, dudes used to be like, yo, John used to come here last year and play with us when y'all didn't have games. And I used to be like, wait a minute, he used to play with Walt Whitman and he was playing in the league in here too? Like, for me, one league was like that was like my plate was full. Like, you had to play more ball like every day. Like, I didn't understand it was every day. I thought like you practice, and when you didn't have practice, you didn't play. Then when you had a game, then when you didn't have a game, you just chill. No, it's if you don't have a game or practice, you find somewhere else to play. And when I found out that John used to play in the boys club at the same time he played at Whitman, that made me feel like, well, dang, if I want to get better to his level, I got to play all the time. By the way, they said John used to come in there and get 50 in the boys club. See, John ain't tell you all that modest John. Nah, John.
No!
I'm
No!
telling.
He was talking about the
telling,
dudes he
Double.
played with. He never really talked about his numbers that much.
I'm telling on you, Double. John used to get and you know, he used to come in there a lot. Eric Brown from Boys and Girls.
Yes,
yes. City player, excellent high school basketball legend. He used to be in there. He was a year younger than me, so he was like 13. And he was already dunking in there. He was like, I was like 6'2", so he was right there like 6'2", and he was dunking in there already. That's my man, Eric Brown. He used to be in there too.
Hold on. Let me see. My guy, Ballhead, said, what up, Ballhead? He said, ask him if he still got the Big Dreams record me and you gave him.
Yes.
That's my guy. See? Ballhead, appreciate for that question, brother.
Peace, respect, dude.
Yeah. So listen, now, during this time in Lincoln, right? I know for all of us can testify this. And I'm going to talk to one at a time. We're going to go. I'm going to say this name, and I want you to tell me what this name means to you. Tony Gritani.
Everything. He was like I don't even know what his job actually was, because he was like a coach, but he wasn't really a coach. But he was at every game, every practice. He was like an older father to the team.
Yeah.
And he kind of took me under his wing, and I used to sing KP. He used to talk to me all the time. Italian guy. I love him. I was like one of his favorite guys.
Yes.
Love Tony. He was a real good man and very nice to me always. I love him. Rest in peace to him.
He was the first person to introduce me to the Gatorade gum.
The Gatorade gum.
Remember the Gatorade gum?
You know what? That might
you took that gum and they actually quenched your thirst.
You know what? That might have been a little after me, because I don't remember the gum. I remember he used to cut oranges for us at halftime of games.
Yeah,
Tony and cut oranges, and when we used to come
he gave us that too. Yeah,
spray of oranges for us.
Yeah.
But Gatorade gum, I had it, but I don't remember when I had it. I don't know if I had it in high school.
Yeah, we had them in high school. It was the little triangle Gatorade gums used to give us to quench our thirst. For you guys out there listening, Tony Gritani, he wasn't a coach. He was like a volunteer who worked with all of the teams damn near, because he worked the football team, swimming team, don't make a difference. But he was very close to us in the basketball team.
Very close.
And, you know, you need a kind word. He was definitely there to give you some good words of encouragement, but don't get him mad, boy. He started saliving for the side. He started to get him upset, you know. And he only got mad when the refs or someone tried to cheat us or do us wrong.
He never seen him get mad. He's never got mad at me one time. So I see him on the sit right behind our bench and hit the ref. I seen Coach calm down. Like he almost got us attacked a couple times.
Scar said, Tony was special. I received the trophy my senior year. Wow.
Great man.
Yes.
Great man.
Yes. Now, the next person I'm going to bring up, I was talking about him today. I was talking about him today with Coach Bud, Lawrence Bud Pollard from Jefferson, head coach of Jefferson High School.
Respect to him. They used to give us problems.
Yeah, man. And he was just saying how good of a coach Bobby was and how he allowed, you know, Tiny to step into that position to take Lincoln to the next level.
Absolutely.
You know, what did Coach Hartstein mean to you? I know what he meant to me and everybody else, but what did he mean to you?
He was the first man that I ever met in my life that I felt cared about me in my life up until And I'm talking from up until I was 17, 18 years old. I had never had a man in my life ever show me that he cared about me at all. I had a real, I came from a childhood of child abuse, crime, anything you could think of. I was poverty. I was in part of that. Single parent. I had no father figure. I had no man ever tell me anything positive about me or life ever until I met Coach Hartstein. He is everything. If it wasn't for him, I don't even know if I would be here right now.
Same here. Changed my life.
Changed him. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Coach Hartstein changed my life. And to this day, I don't even know why, because I was nobody, man. To him, I don't even know why he chose to go out of his way to help me. I wasn't the star of the team. I wasn't, I was just one of his kids. And he went so far above and beyond to help me that I don't even have words to express to y'all what he means to me. Everything. Everything.
I share with my audience, my basketball heads, man. They know, because I always talk about Coach and say, I don't know how I made the team. I still tell him this to this day, and he goes, you made the team for a reason. You saw something in you.
Right.
But not knowing, him and Steinberg had a falling out when he picked me.
Really?
Yes, I found this out at Coach's award, acceptance award. He was getting an award for being a Brooklyn legend. And we was all having a conversation. And Steinberg says, Glenn, me and Bobby started talking after he picked you, because I thought he made the wrong decision.
Wow, this is our assistant coach.
Yes.
Shout out to Coach Steinberg. Love you, Coach.
Yep.
Wow.
And Coach said, how Coach said, Coach turned around and go, yeah, Glenn, but we made him eat his words 2 years later, huh?
No, you was a good player.
Steinberg was like, who knew you was going to grow to 6'4"? Who knew?
Nah, but on the real though, you belonged on that team. You definitely belonged on that team. My senior year, your freshman, you absolutely belonged on that team. Absolutely.
Appreciate
you were good basketball. Absolutely. I remember you could. I don't want to jump ahead to my senior year, because I know we're going in order, but I'm going to wait. But I got some funny memories with you, but I'm going to wait and get to it. We got time.
There was no tournament shirts with me. I tried out with a pair of canvas Converses, cut off blue jeans, and a white T-shirt.
Me too. Me too. I didn't have shorts. I didn't have nothing. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for tournament T-shirts, I might not have had shirts. That's where I was at. That's where my family was at. Like, a tournament shirt was not just for a tournament. It was your wardrobe.
No, listen. I remember I started thinking, right? It was like after my freshman year at Lincoln, and I stopped going school shopping after that, because I remember school shopping was such a big thing. To have a wardrobe for the first 2 weeks of school, to go back to wearing the same thing you was wearing last year. But when I got on the team, it gave me such an array of confidence. I didn't care about having the new things because I had ball gear.
Right.
That was my fashion. That was the thing that was hot for me. So it was like, nah, I'm not worried about new clothes. I'm just going to play in more tournaments and get more shirts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that was the come up.
For me was everything. It was all I had. Basketball was I had nothing else in my life worth anything. I felt like I had nothing else to live for on earth but basketball. That was it. I had nothing. So for me, when I finally made the team the following year, my sophomore year, which my sophomore year I had grown 3 inches over the summer, so I was 6'5" coming in.
Wow.
I was the tallest
So
kid.
me and you had similar paths.
Yeah, I had a growth spurt. I went from 6 over when I came in as a sophomore, I was 6'5". So I was the tallest kid in the school, so I was making the team. You know what I'm saying? I had gotten a lot better. Make a long story short, I had gotten a lot better, and I came in my sophomore year, I came in with these 2 kids named Spice and Silk, which was bananas. We all came to the team together. And it's so funny how I met Spice. Can I tell us? This is hilarious.
There you go.
I'm telling on you, Spice. Early in school, my sophomore year, I got gym class. This dude's in my gym class. And he's like, so we start talking like, yeah, I'm going out for the team, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be on the team too. He's real like cocky, like, yeah, I'm going to be on the team too.
Very cocky, yes.
So
yes.
I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, great. Let's play one-on-one. All right, because my personality isn't really, how some people say so-and-so is a dog. This person is a dog. I wasn't a dog. I was just, real like laid back. Like, okay, you want to play? You're going to make the team? Great. You want to play one-on-one? Cool. I wasn't like, yo, let's go. What you want to do?
Right.
So me and Spice start playing, and immediately I noticed his handle was ridiculous. This dude was like a Harlem Globetrotter. I had not seen anybody handle the ball like that since John. So I'm like, wow, this dude dribbles like John. So now we playing one-on-one, and he would get the step on me and then jump into me and like crash and hit my ribs and lay it up. And I kept going like, yo, you can't do that. Like, yo. You gotta imagine, this is in 81, right? Dudes wasn't really doing that. Like, if you go back and look at old footage of basketball, creating that contact like that wasn't really a thing like that.
Yep.
But Spice, he was kind of strong. He's about 5'10" maybe, and I'm 6'5". But he would tear my ribs up, get that step, and boom, jump into me and lay it up. I kept going, yo, what you doing? And he's like, shut up, I could do that. No, I was like, that's an offensive foul. He's like, no, it's not. Check the ball. No, it's not. That's how I met Spice in gym class. Him jumping into me, tearing up my ribs.
Was he shooting off the backboard?
Yes. But you know what? He didn't even shoot no jumpers. It was bow, 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 bow. To the rim, my ribs, layup. Every time. Like 10 times in a row. My ribs, my whole rib cage was tore up because this dude keeps banging in my ribs and saying, like, that's a good play.
Right.
So that's how I met Spice Kilpatrick. And then when we got to practice, I met Silk. Because everybody was saying that this kid Silk is coming. And, it was like a little buzz, like, this kid Silk is coming. And, I'm just like, I just want to be on a team. Like, I don't know who Silk, I don't know none of these people. I'm not trying to compete. I just want to get on the team, to be on the team.
Right.
That's all I wanted. So, when I get to practice, I see Silk, mad smooth. He didn't talk that much, but he was fast, man. And like you could tell right away, this guy was special. This Silk was special from day one. Like when I saw him, I was like, okay, he's incredible. And we all was young. Me and him, we was all sophomores. We was the young dudes. And then you had this guy, Don Marbury, was ridiculous. Like leaping ability. He's like 6'2", the dude. He used to dunk it, like put his arm in the rim. Like I was just learning how to dunk, really. Like I could dunk. I was 6'5", I could dunk, but I wasn't like, doing nothing crazy. This dude was shooting at me, dunking backwards, bang, bang. I'm like, yo, who's this? This is high school? Yo. Then we had another dude, all city, named Henry Hamilton. He's flying over here. And then another dude, Tim McFall, T-Mac, He's flying. I'm like, yo. So I got the seniors, they're flying all over the air. Some dude named Silk, ridiculous jump shot. Some dude named Spice handling the ball like a magician. I'm like, yo, what did I get myself into? Like, high school ball is ridiculous. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm thinking as a sophomore coming in.
You named about 6 dudes who were pure nice on one team.
Exactly. Ridiculous. I named you 4 all-city performers, all on one team at one time. And 2 of them, but 2 of them was my age. We was young.
Right.
You know, but Silk was already, like I think he was starting from day one. Like, coach put him in the starting lineup like he was, you know, I was like the 8th man or like the 9th on that team. I would come in, get like 5 minutes in the first half and like 5 minutes inside. I'd get like 10 minutes, 11 minutes. And on that team, that was incredible. And you know what's funny? The dude that told me not to try out, he was still on the team, still on the bench. I was getting more burned than him. Yo, he was still on the team, sitting on the bench. I was getting.
This is why you don't listen to those dudes.
Exactly. Never listen to. Find out for yourself, man. Don't
you have to.
Tell you what you can and cannot do. He was. Yep. I wasn't like him, so I wasn't gonna be like, look at you now. That wasn't my personality. It should have been, but I was just like, you know, I'm getting 10, 12 minutes a game, and you're still on the end of the bench. So
right.
You know, how you like me now? In the words of Kool Mo D. How you like me now? But Coach Hartstein told Henry Hamilton, because he was from our area. You know, all the rest of these Bill Spice, Dawn Marbury, they were from Coney Island. But Henry Hamilton was from Crown. At that time, I lived in Crown Heights. He was like 2 blocks from my house. So Coach Hartstein was like, take him under your wing and, you know, mentor him. And, you know, I didn't really have that much confidence. Like, when I had played well in the summertime, so I came into high school like feeling good. But when I got on that team and saw them dudes, I remember I went up to score, and Henry Hamilton stuck my shot on the backboard. Remember when we used to host?
Yes, that was big.
That was so disrespectful.
That was big. You got your shot stuck on the backboard.
He stuck my shot on the backboard, and as he's holding my shot on the backboard, he's yelling at me, "Go strong!" Like, go strong, like that ain't it. Like, what you just did ain't it. As he's holding my shot on the backboard, like, bang, go strong, and yank my shot down. And that was my best move. So I'm like, yo, my confidence level was really low, but Henry kept talking to me. You're good. You could be good. You gotta work. You gotta work. This is high school ball. This is how we do it here at Lincoln. And, you know, he was the one in my ear making me feel like, you know, I could do it, because without him, without Henry Hamilton, I don't even know, you know, and Coach Hartstein was, you know, he was tough too. Coach Hartstein was, what are you doing?
Yeah, he wasn't a joke. He wasn't easy to play for. You had to get used to it.
What are you doing? He had the best "what are you doing" in the history of
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Spice, you're out of control. You're out of control.
Yo, you didn't want that "what are you doing"? You didn't want that "what are you doing" from Coach Hartstein. I got "what are you doing" every practice, all day, every day, my sophomore year. What are you doing?
Facts. Yo. Hold on for a sec. You know what's so crazy? Can't see your face. Your number was 41, correct?
Huh?
Your number was 41.
Yes, 41 and 14.
Yeah.
Yo.
That's at Shenandoah.
That's my senior year.
Yeah. Yep.
That's dope.
And we had beat Troy that year.
Yup. That's dope. Yup.
That's crazy. So I'm waiting for my artist to hit me up. So as we go along, he should be coming in and showing you.
Hey, on the pictures. What's up?
Yeah, he already did it. So I'm waiting for him to hit me up. So, well, we're not finished yet.
No, I got
it. We stand on Spice and Silk, right?
Let's go.
Now, I interviewed Coach Haskins last year, and he said, out of all the guards that he played with and seen, that Spice and Silk had to be two of the best guards he's seen in New York City history. He said they may not have, the accolades of some of the other great guards, but how they worked together was far better than anything he's ever saw.
You got to understand, Spice, his junior year, he had the team to run to himself because Silk got shot. Spice was all city his junior year. Senior year, Spice was ineligible, didn't play. Silk had the team to run to himself, and he was all state.
Yeah.
You got to imagine the two of them individually was all city, but separately when they had it together.
Yeah.
First of all, Spice was unpressable. We used to have drills in practice, and Coach Hartstein used to make Spice sit out the drills because Spice would just get the ball and dribble through the whole press in the games. And Coach used to say, that's not realistic because if Spice is not in the game, we're not going to know what to do.
Facts.
So he used to make Spice sit on the side while the rest of us ran the press offense. But then, when the game comes, he used to be like, Spice, go. Teams be pressing. Spice would just dribble through the whole team and just, his handle was so ridiculous. I seen him shake Pearl Washington, and Pearl is the king of shit. I got a million Pearl stories too, but my sophomore year, I didn't mention this, that when the report cards came out and I had a bad report card and my mother made me quit the team, which devastated me.
You wasn't ineligible, but you was ineligible by your mom's standard.
Right. I wasn't ineligible. I could have still played, but by my mother's standard, because I was like a honor roll student up until that point.
Yeah.
And one bad report card, she was like, oh, nah, basketball for you is done. And I was getting 10 minutes a game, like I was on the team, like I was doing it.
On your way, yeah.
Deaded it. So that just devastated me. But I still used to come to the games. And when Lincoln played boys and girls, by this point, Pearl was a junior. He was already the hottest player in the city. And when we played them, it was standing room only. There was so many people at the game, they had to get the police. The police
at Lincoln or at boys?
At Lincoln. They had to have police because there were so many people to see Pearl, you couldn't even get into a Pearl Washington game. You was lucky to get in.
They had people on the track?
On the track, outside, everywhere. Courtside, surrounding the court. It was ridiculous. The police don't come to a high school game. The police was at the game inside the gym. They was in boys and girls, some kind of zone. And Spice used to have this crossover. Most people cross over side to side like this. Spice's crossover, his arms used to cross like this. It was this so
cross.
Cross. Like he used to cross, and his arms would end up crossed like this. Because I used to sit and watch all these guys in amazement. Because you got to understand, I had only been playing basketball for 2 years at this point.
Right.
So all of these people, even my teammates, were amazing to me. So I'm sitting there watching Spice, and he had the ball, and Pearl, who used to get a lot of steals, reached, and Spice crossed him, blow, so fast that Pearl act like he was just jogging. You ever trip and fall, and they you try to run it off a little bit?
Right.
Spice caught Pearl so crazy that Pearl was like, just ran back into the zone like he was just, trying to.
Wow.
It was so ridiculous. I'm sitting there in the stairs like, yo, because Pearl was destroying everybody. But for that moment, my boy Spice broke him.
That's what he said. He mentioned that. He caught him.
I was in the stands. I saw it with my own two eyes. Pearl played it off like he was jogging or like trying to deny. He did something like that. He didn't really shake me. I just wanted to run out to the hash mark and run back. He did something weird like that. I was like,
right.
Rest in peace, Pearl, the greatest I've ever seen.
Yo, question. No, not more of a statement. I remember watching a news sports show, Channel 7. It's a high school game, Abraham Lincoln versus Boys and Girls.
Yes.
And I remember telling you the story, and I was like, Pearl shook this dude, and he falls, and the camera went in his face, and you was like, that was me. What year was that?
We played Boys and Girls at Boys and Girls my junior year. I was starting now as a junior. Pearl had 45 in a high school game, 32-minute high school game with no three-pointers, no shot clock. He had 45. So we had to play them again 2 weeks later at Boys and Girls. So the whole 2 weeks, Coach Hartstein is like, he loves to go baseline. He loves to go baseline. We're going to try to force him into the middle or we could get help. So the whole 2 weeks, that's all we practiced, stopping Pearl from going baseline.
Right.
Fast forward to the game. Somehow Pearl gets a steal, and it's just me and him. And he's coming right at me baseline. He's coming right at me. And I remember going, he likes to go baseline. So I put my foot on the baseline. It's practically out of bounds. He comes at me. He's dribbling with his left. He looks at me, and he goes to cross over. So he goes to cross over. But I've seen his crossover so many times from watching him, I was like, I got him. And I jumped over and jumped in front of him to try to take the charge. But instead of crossing over, he did the inside-out dribbling. And you got to imagine, this is in 83, nobody wasn't really doing an inside-out like that.
Right.
He might have, I'm not going to say he invented it, but
he invented a lot of things, yes.
Yeah.
The boogie hand.
Yeah.
Nobody had the boogie hand before Pearl.
Dude, he brought it like that and left me sliding this way, and he went baseline. He went past me so fast that he turned around and looked at me and shook his head like this, damn, and laid the ball in. Yo, people were screaming. Yo, the whole crowd was like, yo, because not only did he shake me, he had enough time to look back, like,
wow,
this dude, and laid it in, and the cameras was right on it because ABC News was doing a special on the Pearl. So they was trying to find a good highlight, and they was like, this is a great one. So that night, Coach Hartstein calls me, and he goes, hey, Kenny, you made the news for playing bad. You made the news for playing bad defense. Yo, real quick, in this same game, Pearl got a steal. He's ahead of the field. He bounced the ball on the floor, off the backboard, and caught it and dunked it with two hands. Boom! In the game at live speed. Do you know how you have to not care? You only got one shot to bounce the ball on the floor off the backboard. Like, if you get it wrong, it's going to go out of bounds or bounce too high. In one motion, he stole the ball, bounced it on the floor off the backboard, and dunked it with two hands. I saw that with my own two eyes. I couldn't believe this dude. He didn't even belong in high school as a senior. I think he should have. It was a waste. His senior year was a waste of time.
Kenny, you know he did the same thing as Soul in the Hole
Wow.
in the championship to win the game.
You know how confident you have to be that you can make this pass, make it off the backboard, that you're gonna catch it and dunk. If you miss, the coach ain't gonna say nothing because you gotta imagine this is 1983. You wouldn't do nothing crazy like that. You do a fundamental shot. You do something like that and miss. For us, we might have got benched for. I don't even know what Coach Hartstein would have said to me if I tried to do something like. If
I'll tell you one thing. My guy Fish MC said Pearl was the only one that got my cousin Gene Smith from Georgetown.
I was watching that game. I was there. No, wait. Is that the one at the Garden, his freshman year?
Yes.
Tony Gritani took me to that game, the Big East championships. We didn't even have a ticket. Tony Gritani was just paying ushers as we walked in. We just walked in, and he just shook an usher's hand and gave him money, and we came in. He shook another usher's hand, and they let us come inside the thing.
Yo, let me tell you, I've always said this. I've said it. I never said it out loud. But I think Tony was connected.
I'm going to say I believe that as well. I don't know. No, I don't.
I can't vouch. And I'm not saying he did anything negative. I'm just saying the man was connected.
He had a lot of time to be at Lincoln. He was at Lincoln all day, every day. So I don't know what he did for a living.
Well, he probably was already retired because he was pretty old when he was around us.
Yeah.
You know?
I know that Pearl's freshman year at Syracuse was we came into the Madison Square Garden with no ticket, just handshakes and money. And I saw Pearl shake Gene Smith live. And he laid it on Patrick Ewing. He did some move and froze Patrick Ewing and laid it right in his face. The Garden, TV doesn't even capture how the Garden was going crazy in that game. Everybody, it was bananas. I was there.
If there's no Pearl, there's no Carrier Dome. What would make a college create a basketball arena, 30,000 people, and they're not really that good? But then Pearl comes and fill up the whole stadium every night. That's the beginning of the Big East. That's when Patrick Ewing and all those guys came out. That's the birth of Syracuse and the birth of Big East. Pearl Washington.
And shout out to Chris Mullin. Chris Mullin.
Facts.
Not game before Pearl. I think Chris Mullin played. I forgot who they played the game before that. Chris Mullin had 29. He didn't miss one jumper. He was shooting all threes, but there was no threes. All 25-footers. It wasn't even hitting the rim. Chris Mullin, wasn't even hitting the rim. It's just swish, 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 swish. So I saw Chris Mullin, and then I saw Pearl for free with no ticket. Am I saying?
Hey, it's so crazy. Jerry Ice Reynolds said when they met Chris Mullins and them in the state championship, he couldn't believe how good Chris was. So mind you, they had Jerry Ice Reynolds, Andre Irvin, Beetle Washington, Cosell Brown.
Ridiculous.
Ed Davender, Andre Kibler, Gerald Green.
Kibler, shout out to my
Greg Jones. And you know who's the ball boy back then?
Who?
For Alexander Hamilton? Lloyd Daniels.
My Lloyd, our Lloyd Daniels, so we got to get to that, right?
Yes.
The funniest story of all time.
Did I mention that? Did I mention that when I interviewed him?
No. I don't think you mentioned that what he did to us. I'm going to say us.
Oh, for sure. Even though I didn't get any burn in, but I got my own Lloyd Daniels story, and they heard it 1,000 times.
Should I
talk about our Brooklyn playoff run, and we had to play Jefferson at Jefferson, and it seemed like we was playing in Rikers Island.
Yes.
You should see the gym now. They have a brand new saltwater pool. Salute to my guy Bud for just redecorating Jefferson's whole facility. When we was there, it looked like a jail. So I'm gonna let you.
Jefferson was rated the worst high school in New York City. I remember they had a whole thing in the paper ranking the worst high schools with the worst graduation rate and most crime. And they was like, Jefferson was the #1 worst high school in New York City in the 80s.
Wow. I tell Bud, when I walked through the school, I was like, yo, it looks totally different from when we was here in the 80s. I never been to Rikers Island, but I thought that's what it looked like.
Yes. We played them 3 times my senior year. Should I tell this Lloyd Daniels story?
Yeah.
Senior year, we in the playoffs. We played Jefferson twice, and we barely beat them. But we beat them twice in the regular season. We got to play them in the playoffs. Coach Hartstein calls me into the office. He goes, so Jefferson got a new kid on the team. He was hurt the whole year. He had a broken leg, but he's back now. And he had 20 points the other night. They say he's pretty good, but we haven't seen him. And I was like, it don't matter who it is. Like, you know, we was like blowing everybody out by 30. I'm like, it don't matter who they got. And he was like, okay. He was like, the kid's name is Lloyd Daniels. I'm like,
Lloyd Daniels.
I'm like, whatever. And coach is like, so you're going to be holding him. So I'm like, I got him, you know. And he's like, he's a sophomore, too. This kid is a sophomore. I'm like, a sophomore? Whatever, right? Fast forward to the day of the game. Coach points him out, that's Lloyd Daniels. So I'm like, okay, first of all, he was a little bit taller than me. I'm 6'5", he was about 6'6". So I'm like, oh, this dude is kind of tall, okay? Cool.
He had peasy hair.
He had this peasy afro. Game starts. He gets the ball. Pull up jumper in my face. Swish. Okay. Next time down. Pull up jumper in my face. Swish. Next time down. Pull up jumper in my face. Swish. Coach calls timeout, right? Coach Hartstein is timeout. He's screaming at me in the huddle. What are you doing? Play some defense. I'm like, okay, coach, okay, I'm going to play D. But in my mind, I'm thinking, I am playing D. I thought I was on him, right? Come out. So now I'm like, I'm getting right up in this dude's face. He ain't shooting no more jumpers on me. He gets the ball. Bow, 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 to the rim, lays it in. Next time down, bow, 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 to the rim, lays it in. He has like 10 quick points on me in like 2 minutes. I never felt so helpless in all my life. I was holding this dude. He was scoring so many points. He reached a point where somebody on his team took a shot and he was screaming at them. Like, yo, what you doing? Look at this dude I got on me. Look at what I got. He's
time out, Kenny. I think you got it wrong. Lloyd was a freshman, not a sophomore.
Oh, he was a freshman. Okay, my bad.
He was a freshman. We was in the same grade. Yeah.
Okay. He's a freshman.
Well, he probably got a left back like me anyway, so who knows?
He was tall. But he was telling his man, look at this dude. Look who I got. Like, why are you shooting? Look at this dude I got on me. He's talking like this with me on him. Like, this guy, like, don't give me the ball. Like, I got a bum on. Like, yo, he's talking like this to me. Like I wasn't even there. And keep in mind, he was limping because he had come off a ball. He wasn't even 100%.
Yeah.
He had a limp.
Nope.
He gave me 29 of the most disgusting points I ever got in my entire life holding this dude. Coach didn't switch off to the end of the fourth quarter, and we almost.
Damari. It was Damari.
He put Ari Riddick, shout to Biggs. He put Biggs on him, and Biggs slowed him down a little bit. And Lloyd Daniels missed the front end of a 1-and-1. They would think it was tied or we was up 1, and he missed the front end of a 1-and-1 late in that game. Or they would have took the lead. They might have beat us. They was right on. This dude was incredible as a freshman. I'll never forget. I've never got that much damage given to me than I got from this freshman Lloyd Daniels. And I was so cocky. There was like, because you know, Glenn, we was beating. I saw an article that said we was winning every game by a margin of our margin of winning was 22 point something points per game.
Yes.
Now imagine we had a couple of close games in there. So you like out the close games, we was winning by like 30.
Yeah.
Like Silk was averaging like 22 points a game. We was only playing 3 quarters. Because in the fourth quarter,
we couldn't wait because we knew we was gonna play. We was like,
right. I remember I was gonna say, yo, we used to be on the sidelines dying because you used to come in and you was letting them fly. We knew watch the ball.
Everybody knew that. Everybody like, yo, G, soon as he get in the game, he let it go.
You was not shy at all. You was letting them fly. We used to be on the sidelines crying, watching, because we knew you wasn't afraid.
Y'all was calling me Ice back then. Y'all like, Ice, shoot it. Shoot it.
Shoot it, Ice. Shoot it, Ice. We wanted you. We was like, yo, shoot that ball.
Nah, that was the memorable. And I was saying during that time, I didn't mind riding the pine. You was a freshman, you put in your dues, you wait your turn, right? And you do it the proper way. A lot of guys like to jump ahead.
Right.
And you kind of miss out on things. A little side note, I'm talking to this young man right now, probably gonna have him on my show Wednesday so we can talk. He started out at Wagner High School in Staten Island.
Right.
As a freshman. Then COVID hit and he wasn't playing. So he transferred to this Catholic school, get his education paid for, different side of the tracks, better education system, just how it is on the other side. And team was doing well, gelled with the team. Team is actually very good. And the coach scheduled them against a lot of AA competition, even though they're in the A. And they just beat a AA team, which is Brooklyn Collegiate, which is one of the top teams in the city. But he wants to go back to his neighborhood school, which is Wagner, which yesterday or the day before yesterday, a teenager got stabbed in the school.
Oh, nah.
So I called him the other day and I said, yo, X, you really think you're making the right choice by you going backwards? And you probably gonna have to sit out, right? Instead of staying and toughing it out, he was saying he was having problems in the classroom and the social aspect of the school. I was like, well, you plan to play Division I basketball? You know how tough it's gonna be to keep your grades up, travel, play ball. It's gonna be challenges. It's good that you go through it now, then have to start over because you're going backwards and coach is going to look into that. And I just wanted to say that because he's dealing with that right now. Here you're in a good situation. You leave to go back to a situation where you left. And when you go back, somebody getting stabbed in the hallway.
He's young. He doesn't understand. When you're young, you can't see past a couple of months. He doesn't see 4 or 5 steps down the road. That comes with maturity. That's why you need an older person to mentor young dudes, and they need to listen and, you say trust the process. They need to listen to the older dudes because we can't, when you're young, you can't see. You don't have enough experience. It takes a real special kid to see 3 or 4 moves down. You see one move. My friends are over there. They hanging out. They having a good time. I want to be over there with them. It's probably what he's thinking or something.
Yep.
He doesn't see 3 or 4 moves down. You know, I saw a stat that said only 1% of high school basketball players get a Division I scholarship. 1%. That means 99% of all kids playing high school ball in America will not get a D1 scholarship. It's that hard to get a Division I scholarship to any school. It's that hard. So if you got a shot, you have to put everything into this because it's that hard, but the reward is that special. But as a youth, it's hard to see it when your friends are telling you, yo, why you go to that school? You know, it's corny over there, you know, or whatever they telling them or whatever. Other young kids that don't know what they're talking about, telling him something. He's probably just hearing a lot of chatter. It's chatter. But you know, thankfully he has a person like you to tell him, no, there's steps that you have to wait your turn, and there's a process that you have to trust. Like you said, when you was a freshman, you waited your turn. You knew there was guys, seniors ahead of you, all city played D. We had 4 D1 players. Okay, I'm gonna count Spice even though he was ineligible, but he was going to be on the team. We had 4 D1 players in our starting 5.
Yes. Yes.
And the 5th dude was Sean Williams, who was all city a couple years later.
Yes. Hold on, because I have this picture. I think it's in my phone. I sent it to you.
Yes.
The championship, the team picture, right? If you look at all the guys that was on the team that went Division I, Spice, Silk, you, Damari, myself,
That's 5.
Dave had a banjo.
6. And sprinkling Bernard Mitchell's all city.
Let me tell you something.
Y'all was the young dudes coming.
Bernard Mitchell, to me, how you talk about Pearl,
Yeah.
I just think Bernard, how can I say this? You know Bernard never played college basketball?
Really? And he was all city? Why?
No one recruited. Yo, I had no, first of all, this would trip me out because coming up how it came up behind Sean and Bernard, you know, when the letters started coming in, Coach, we got a little bold, Kenny. You know, Coach didn't give y'all letters.
Mm-hmm.
Since Coach didn't work in the school, we would go steal them, right? We would go to this mailbox and steal the letters.
That's
so
hilarious.
that was just like, so many letters was coming in for me at the time. And I didn't understand it. I'm going, Bernard and Sean are so much better. And Bernard is a beast. Not even junior college. And the person who got him into college was his girlfriend.
That's odd. Not
Me
even
and Coach talked about this. I don't know what was going on with them at the time. Bernard said he was going through some things. But you ask Kenny Anderson, you ask Gerald Green, he lit their asses up. And no one knew who he was. They were just like, who is this kid?
Is it because he didn't go to none of the camps and stuff?
I have no. And then there was another thing. He didn't play how we play. Like me and Sean would go. We was like on Empire State team. We go to hoops and all those things. He played Madison Square Broncos with us. Played AAU.
Yeah.
But he didn't play outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, but when you're all city, you got to get a look. In New York, all city isn't like, no disrespect to a lot of states, but New York all city, especially in the 80s, were really good basketball players, man.
I say this all the time. Rolando Blackman, second team, all city, played at Kansas State.
Dope.
And that's second team.
Maybe it was his height. How tall is Bernard?
Like 6'2".
Oh, he grew because he was y'all was
No,
little.
Bernard was like no. Bernard like 5'11", 6 feet, but he could jump, he could shoot, and he could score with the best of them. Like Bernard, in the right situation, he could have played Big East. He could have played anywhere, actually.
Surprised. I mean, I don't really know the answer, but that's surprising. Not even a junior college. That's surprising.
Yo, I would jump back to a story you shared with me. After Silk got shot, you was like, yo, G, when Silk come back, you know the cheerleaders, they got this cheer, they be saying, Silk is back and there's gonna be trouble. Yo, that's what was sticking in my head. And then when he came out, senior year,
I remember.
and they had that chant, and it was just like, this dude was like a superstar. Like he had the Nike Air Forces from AFB. Remember AFB?
Yeah.
And Richie Cosick, who I'm still in contact with today.
Silk's junior year, first 5-6 games of the season, he was averaging 20, and then he got shot. And I remember we all went to the hospital to see him in Coney Island Hospital as a team. We all went to check him. And I remember he was going for the whole, he didn't come around, he was going for the whole season. I remember when he came to the practice, the last game of the season was against
Yes, he talked about that. Yes, he talked about that.
Eastern District. I remember the practice before that, he came in and Coach Hartstein was like, look who we got here. And he comes into practice and he sat down right next to me and Spice. He sat right there. And I felt so good seeing him because I know what I didn't actually see your interview. I didn't really know what he went through, but I knew, he went through a lot. He got shot. I mean,
yeah,
it's the season. It was crazy. But I remember coming back for that last game. But when I knew we were going to be good was that summer. I didn't hardly play any AAU ball at all because I had some other problems. But I went to Golden Hoops, the first Golden Hoops. And the Broncos was playing. I forgot who they were playing. And Silk was out there. Did not do it. Was just his stroke. He was just drilling these jumpers. And I was like, Silk is back. Like when I saw Silk, I was like, oh boy. It's gonna be a wrap when he get back to school. Because I'm like, at that point, we thought Spice was gonna be there. I'm like,
right.
And then it was like, when I came back to school, they was like, yo, this kid Damari's coming. He gonna take your spot. Yo, this kid Damari's coming. He's nice. He gonna take your spot like that. So everybody say, yo, this kid Damari coming. He's 6'8". He gonna take your spot. And I was like, why can't we play together? Like, you know what I mean? I'm thinking to myself.
Right.
In order for Damari to take my spot, that means there's 4 other spots I can't play. So that means there's 4 other dudes on this team too that's gonna, I'm not gonna play at all. I'm coming off my junior year. I was the voted most improved player. I set the school record in field goal percentage as a junior.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think Silk broke my record as a senior. Damn, Silk, can I live? But no. As a junior, I set the school record for field goal percentage.
Yo, not for nothing. You was our best low post player. Damari was our best low post defender. Biggs became a scorer once he got to Fairleigh Dickinson.
I kind of remember that, yeah, because I played against Biggs and Fairleigh. Yeah, I remember Biggs and Fairleigh. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna let you say because I can't see what you guys saw.
No, you were our best big man. Trust me, by far. Biggs didn't have the offensive skills that you had then.
I appreciate that. Shout out to Biggs.
No, he was a great defender though. He blocked your shot.
Absolutely.
But Biggs didn't develop till he got to Fairleigh Dickinson. He was able to get a lot freer.
That's dope. But yeah, when Biggs came, And Silk, when I saw Silk in the Summons, I was like, we about to do it. And then the USA Today ranked Lincoln #1 preseason in the state. I was like, yo.
That's what I was saying to my friends. Why are we going out for the team? They're #1 in the state. Who's picking 3 freshmen?
See, now if you had a dude that would have told you you can't make the team, you would have not, but you stuck to your guns and went down there and made the team and played and learned. Lessons. Those are all lessons, man.
Wow. So, who was your toughest opponent when you was in high school?
School?
No, player.
Okay, we're going to take Lloyd Daniels out of the equation because I only caught him that one time.
Right.
I mean, Pearl is the answer to every question, really. Because I played against him twice my junior year. And like I said, that was his senior year. He didn't even belong in high school. I think he was toying with us.
Right.
Toying with us in high school. So for me, Pearl was the toughest. I mean, let me think who I had to guard. 'Cause I didn't really guard Pearl because we was in a zone. Didn't matter. I mean, but you know who was tough? I'm going to shout my man out who went to Alexander Hamilton, then transferred to Bishop Lachlan. Andre Kibler. Let me shout my man Andre Kibler out. Kibler was really strong. He was like a Drummond.
The lefty.
Like
yes.
Drummond. He was like, I remember my senior year, we lost to Bishop Lachlan. That was we only lost 2 games before we lost to Brooklyn Trade. We lost to Patterson East Side, that school with that they made the movie about with Joe Clark.
Yes.
We lost to them by 1, and we lost to Bishop Lachlan. Shout out to James Majors because him and Silk went at it. I think they both had like 30.
Yes. Wasn't that a scrimmage though?
Nah, that was a real game. That was early in the season. That was a real game. And but Andre Kibler was a problem. He was really tough in that game. I remember that. I'm gonna shout out Andre Kibler just off the top of my head.
Was it you that told me about how Andre Kibler dunked on Devil Dog in the Kangaroo Classic?
No, I might have. The Kangaroo Classic used to be so wild. I seen Pearl go bananas in the Kangaroo Classic, man. I could talk. I seen Andre Irvin from Hamilton. They played against Pearl. I seen him catch an alley-oop. The dude was only like 5'10", 5'11". And you know how you're watching the dude dribbling the ball? So you're not watching other action. The dude just threw the ball up. So you're following the ball. You didn't know where it was going. And all of a sudden, some dude just caught it and was like, boom! He's only 5'11". His dude's like head was by the rim. I just remember that. Shout out to Andre Irvin and shout out his brother Mike Irvin.
Facts. And you know, their nephew, Gary Irvin, became a top player in the city, and now he's the coach at Nazareth.
Oh, shoot. Shout out to him. I never met him, but shout out to your whole family.
Yeah, the Irvins.
I didn't know Andre Irvin. Mike Irvin was cool.
Yes, very, very cool. He's the one that kind of raised Gary. So now I'm looking at. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, I'm gonna shout out to him. I'm gonna diss him, but in a friendly way. Devil Dog, and the reason is because I'll tell you the other day, in the grammar school, we lost to Ed Davender and Devil Dog's team in grammar school, and in my high school, we was eliminated by Ed Davender and Devil Dog's team. So Bug Eye is gone, rest in peace. So I'm gonna send all my hate towards Devil Dog right now. You ruined my life, Devil Dog.
That's so real. And then it's so crazy. When y'all left, we got smacked by boys and girls again by 20. My sophomore year. And then the junior year, we had enough. That was it.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready?